Do you agree?
I agree. For me, I don't think anything will ever touch Dan Marino. What he did, Skip, in 1984 with the rules the way they were, to go 5,048 touchdowns. I think that's the greatest statistical season for a quarterback ever. Now, Brady had a 50-8. Manning had a 55-10. I think Mahomes was 50-13 last year. Were great seasons. But when you look at what he's doing, if he can finish somewhere around 38 touchdowns, he's going to be, Skip, probably 1,200, maybe even 1,300 rush yards. 38 passing touchdowns, 1,300 rush yards. Yeah, the year that Vic ran for 1,000 yards, Skip, he threw for just under 2,500 yards. Well, Lamar is at is slightly under 2,900 right now. And when you look at, I think the thing is that when you're looking at a guy that's rushed for 1,100 yards and he leads the league in touchdown passes, that's what's so amazing, because we don't think guys that's going to run the ball as effective as he does. Because, Skip, he's right there with Zeke. People don't realize this. Lamar Jackson has as many rush yards as Ezekiel Elliott has, as Chris Carson has. Let that sink in. But he has more passing touchdowns than Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. So when you look at it in that context, absolutely. If he's able to finish this thing off, yes, I think you would have to look at it and say that he had one of the great statistical seasons for a quarterback in the 100-year history.
So I'm finding this impossible to rank because he has revolutionized the position in a way that it's like apples to an orange. And this orange is genetically engineered. It's like the greatest orange in the history of oranges. and it's so great that I can't even compare it to all the apples, because those are great apples over there. And I give you Dan Marino and the Brady year on QBR. That was the greatest year ever, was the Brady MVP 2007. They're undefeated. But then Peyton came along and just blew that out of the water. and again, Peyton that year had twice as many yards passing as Lamar has right now. But that's not the point. Because Lamar has become, to me, the best running back in all of football. So he's dominating, and it's not just effective running, it's dominating running, along with deadly accurate red zone passing that leads to key touchdowns. Well, how do I rank that against Peyton's year? I don't even know how, because this is a whole new deal we're watching, right?
Because I don't think Peyton had any rushing touchdowns that year. And the offense, and plus, you know, that year Peyton was over 5,400 yards, 55 touchdowns. They had 5 different guys that scored at least 10 touchdowns. But when you look at Vic ran for over 1,000 yards. He was slightly under 2,500. Skip, he threw for 20 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson's at 33 with 2 games to go.
And it does, if you compare it to Peyton's 55, then it doesn't seem like great. But wait a second, he's run for that many yards? Wow.
How many quarterbacks we've seen finish top 5? The guy, he could possibly finish top 5 in rushing, Skip, and lead the league in passing. That's like, because we don't normally see guys that lead the league in scoring and lead the league in assists. So that's why when people do that, Tiny Archibald was the first to do it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, James Harden of Russ did it also. But we don't normally see that. So what we're seeing is a guy, a running back, or the quarterback that could be top 5 in rushing, but lead the league in passing touchdowns. Skip, that doesn't go together. Running quarterbacks are not supposed to be able to throw the ball
just like this.
Exactly.
Because he's as deadly a throw. To me, he's as deadly as Drew Brees is right now.
Yes.
So on impact, I don't know. I could argue with you this might be the greatest season ever, right?
It's unbelievable. I mean, you look at Rodgers, what Rodgers did, Skip. I think he went 45-6, one of those seasons. Manning had another season where he threw 49 touchdowns because he broke Dan's record with 49, because Dan had 48, and then Brady came behind him and threw 50, and then Peyton says, you know what, I'm going to break this thing by 10%. I'm going to go 55.
Okay, but you're trying to compare pure pocket passes.
Exactly.
Pure, with no mobility whatsoever.
None, zero.
Zero.
Yes.
Versus all-time mobility.
Considering that Lamar Jackson, if I'm not mistaken, might have more rush yards this season than Brady has for a career.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure
that's real. That is incredible.
Because remember, he went over 1,000 yards, how he was happy that he was going over 1,000 yards rushing.
In his career?
In his career.
I'm pretty sure.
I hadn't even read that yet. That's mind-blowing.
I mean,
wow.
to see this guy, what he's been able to do throwing the football, to see where he's come from, Skip. In 7 starts, have 6 TDs passing. Now he's at 33.
Revolutionizing the position, and we are watching it, and it is fun to see. We got to talk about that guy, though, Tom Brady. Actually, is he sending a message to all current quarterbacks? Well, despite having the second best record in the AFC, the Patriots only had 3 players named to the Pro Bowl. And for the first time since 2003, they didn't send anybody from the offensive side of the ball. Tom Brady's omission wasn't too surprising considering the competition at the position, but Julian Edelman missed out yet again, which means the reigning Super Bowl MVP and future Hall of Famer has still never made a Pro Bowl in his career. Just crazy to think about. Former Patriot James Harrison back with us. James, no Brady, no players from New England's offense. Did they get it right?
I believe they got it right because it's in comparison to the person that's playing their position that they're going up against. And when you're looking at Tom Brady and what you're used to seeing him do, he's nowhere near that right now. And the guys that are playing are doing better numbers and, in some cases, wins and losses than he is doing. The position for receiver, like I said, that's another hard position, especially when you look at Edelman and most people consider him.
Do him a slot.
Right. Most people consider him a slot, a positional receiver, not really your all-star number one, receiver. So it's not surprising the offensive line is what it is, and no one's going from there. And when you look at the running back position, what you got? You got Chubb, Ingram, and Henry that are the Pro Bowl running backs. So putting all that into it and what they're going up against, I'm not surprised.
No, not even close. Not even close. Brady, I mean, think about it. Let this sink in for just a second. There have only been 7 quarterbacks to start every single game. Brady is one of 7 quarterbacks. My homeboy didn't start every game. 7. And he couldn't make it. I'm not sure he's the first alternate. Josh Allen might be the first alternate. He had no case for the 3 that made it. He had 0 case. And I've been telling you all year, but Skip Bayless won't tell you. Did you know Tom Brady is 20th in QBR? Skip loved that stat. He told you.
Right.
He loved
that one.
He's 20th.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers 17, Tom Brady 20th.
Oh!
That in perspective. Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But Brady is 29th in completion percentage, 28th in yards per attempt. Ooh! And Julian Edelman, and people is considering Julian for the Pro Bowl, considering what his quarterback has been giving him. Now, mind you, they have the number 1 defense in football, number 1 in takeaways. They're starting on short fields. And this is what Brady put up there. You talk about the Pro Bowl? Pro Bowl? Pro Bowl? In my best Jim Moore senior voice. Skip Bayless, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Now, I'm surprised. Look,
I didn't even talk yet.
Nope.
I think
what should I be ashamed for?
For the defense, I'm a little surprised Devin McCourty didn't make it because I thought he had an unbelievable. I thought he had an unbelievable season. But Gilmore, obviously Gilmore, he's probably gonna be the defensive player of the year. Yeah. Zeus Hightower, okay. But other than that, but see, Skip, the thing that made Brady, that he was always able to take lesser tier talent and elevate it. Now he can't do that. And everybody make all these excuses. But the thing that you gave him credit for, now you're demonizing the players that are around him for. Because you never gave those players the credit that they rightfully deserve. And when I told you those players are better than you think, they might not be Julio, or they might not be a top-tier running back. But for that system and what they need, they're perfect. But you didn't want to hear that. Now you're starting to see, as he's aged and his play has slipped, and he can't elevate those guys. Wow, it look a mess out there. They got no claim. Because what the last offensive lineman they have make the Pro Bowl? Logan Mankins? I think that was the last guy. They've really never had a whole lot of offensive linemen, Skip, that made the Pro Bowl. I think Logan Mankins, if I don't quote me, but I think he was the last one to make it, and he consistently made it. And Coach Belichick let him walk out the door. Last true defensive lineman was probably Seymour. The last outside linebacker was Chandler Jones, and he traded him. So the thing that we applauded Brady for, being able to elevate players and to get by, is the thing now that he can't elevate those, and we're starting to see what they look like when he can't.
So I completely agree. There was 0 chance of Tom Brady making the Pro Bowl.
Did he deserve it?
No.
Okay.
0.
Okay.
0, 0. Less than 0 chance.
Okay.
So you keep saying I should be ashamed of myself.
Okay.
No, I shouldn't.
I thought,
because you've been telling me he's been playing great all year. You've been telling me, Jenny and I've been
made a bunch of plays that he didn't deserve to make because somehow Bill Belichick has allowed Tom Brady's supporting cast